One of my most requested rankings for Minecraft besides a biome ranking is a video ranking all of the game's advancements. Currently there are 110 advancements in the- 110?! Yeah, okay, so there's a lot, and unfortunately I'm trying to make shorter videos right now so I can focus on editing my 200k special ranking every 2D Mario level. So instead of focusing on what's in the game, what about the ones that aren't? If you didn't know, the advancement menu is actually the second take on this sort of idea in Minecraft. The current system was introduced in 1.12, and it replaced a previous achievement system that had been in the game since beta 1.5. By the time of its replacement, there were 34 different achievements spread across this one menu, which is in contrast to the many menus for the advancements. What's interesting though is that a lot of these achievements were not turned into advancements in 1.12. In fact, most of them were actually removed entirely. Of the 34 achievements, only 13 fully survived into the current day, those being getting an upgrade, acquire hardware, diamonds, we need to go deeper, enchanter, the end, return to sender, into fire, local brewery, beaconator, monster hunter, adventuring time, and sniper duel. So today we're going to take a look at what those other 21 cut achievements were, why they may have been removed, and if I think they should come back or stay dead. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right in. So right out of the gate, a lot of these cut achievements were extremely basic. A lot of them don't have too much to talk about, hence the short length of this video, but as we go along, the achievements will get more interesting. So let's start off with the easiest of these achievements, taking inventory. As the name suggests, you simply have to open your inventory, making this quite literally require one button press. Yeah, so I imagine this was removed because it's extremely unnecessary. I guess you could argue it acts as a tutorial, but I think the controls menu does a fine enough job. Going directly down the list, we have getting wood. This just requires the player to pick up a wood block, and that's once again another super easy one. Now I did mention with the last achievement that these can sort of act like tutorials if you're completely lost as to what to do and are incapable of using YouTube. The achievements and advancements can act as good pointers for what to do in the game, so I could see an argument for this one being one that should have stayed, but I'm personally fine keeping it out. Now the next achievement is slightly more interesting because it is technically still in the game, it just got a major rebranding. The one I'm talking about is benchmarking, which requires you to craft a crafting table. Obviously being one of the most important aspects of the game, it makes perfect sense that it was given an achievement. But if you look through the list of advancements, you may be confused because it doesn't seem like anything here is similar to what I just said. Did the YouTuber lie? No, so the reason you don't see any crafting table advancements nowadays is because that advancement does not mention crafting at all in its description. I'm talking about the very first advancement in the menu, Minecraft. Now since this advancement doesn't appear in chat, many of you may be surprised that it does actually have a requirement to appear, that being having a crafting table in your inventory. If you manage to do other advancements without ever having a crafting table, you can actually check the menu to see it marked as incomplete. While you don't have to craft this table like the old benchmarking achievement, just have it in your inventory, I'd say this achievement is still mostly in the game. I like how it is now because if you're playing in multiplayer, you won't have to worry about so many benchmarking advancements filling the chat at the start of the world. While on the topic of crafting, 3 cut achievements have to do with crafting tools. Time to Mine says, use planks and sticks to make a pickaxe. Now that description is a bit of a lie, you can actually make any type of pickaxe you want to get this. I would say this was pretty much replaced by the Stone Age advancement in the game today, which requires us to mine stone. Stone Age is slightly more in depth than the other one, so I think they made the right call cutting Time to Mine. Not to mention that getting an upgrade is also just a pickaxe crafting advancement. Tool number 2 was the hoe for the achievement, Time to Farm. The description says, use planks and sticks to make a hoe, but just like the pickaxe, this can actually be any material of hoe. Now it's a bit harder to say what this one got replaced by, but my best guess is that they just found having both this and the CD place advancement a bit redundant. That requires us to plant a seed, and to do that we need a hoe for farmland anyway. Technically you could just find farmland in a village. So again, I completely agree with the cut this time around. Plus there's always serious dedication if you really need your hoe crafting fix. The final cut tool crafting achievement is Time to Strike, which says use planks and sticks to make a sword. Again, this can be done with any sword, Mojang are just filthy liars. Now what's interesting about this one compared to the other two is the fact that there isn't currently a sword crafting advancement at all. I'm a bit surprised that there isn't at least one, but I'm also not too upset by this being cut. While it doesn't require a sword, you do get the adventure advancement by killing something, or by getting killed. Since you're probably going to use a sword for that, I can see why they thought Time to Strike was a bit redundant. Of the cut achievements so far, it's the one I'd understand coming back the most, but I'm certainly not campaigning for it. Now we've been talking a lot about crafting, but one other aspect of the game that's pretty important is cooking, and there's quite a few cut advancements revolving around that. But before we ask what is he cooking, we need to ask how is he cooking? Well, that's where the Hot Topic achievement comes in. The description says, construct a furnace out of 8 cobblestone blocks. Now this is another one to not really have much of an equivalent in the advancement menu today. However, since you need a furnace for the acquired hardware advancement, it is fairly redundant to have both, so I'm fine with the cut. Using that furnace we just made, we can also get another achievement known as Delicious Fish. The description for this one says, catch and cook a fish. Now this one was definitely replaced by the Fishy Business advancement, which simply requires the player to catch a fish through fishing. I could see why someone would prefer the old one since it has the extra cooking step, but I think the new one is better for a few reasons. For starters, this now covers all 4 fish types instead of just the cod. Secondly, there's also a funny way to collect this advancement. You don't actually have to be fishing. If you just throw a fish item on the ground and attach it to a fishing rod, it counts. So yeah, I think fishy business is best, but I can understand someone wanting delicious fish instead. Sticking with food for the time being, we have the achievement Bake Bread. I wonder what you're supposed to do with this one. The description simply says, turn wheat into bread. This achievement doesn't have anything close to it in the advancements menu. Bread is required for the balanced diet advancement, I guess, but I would certainly not call that its replacement. Personally though, I'm fine with this being gone. Making bread is not really much of a challenge, nor does it directly correlate to game progression. This was definitely a filler achievement at the time, so keeping it dead is fine by me. However, I think it's finally time we take a look at an achievement I think should come back. This is one of the most iconic in the game, that being the lie. The description says, bake cake using wheat, sugar, milk, and eggs. First off, for those confused by the name, this is actually a reference to the Portal franchise. I don't play the series, but the reference is pretty cool. Also, I didn't know this, but apparently the text achievement get is a reference to Mario Sunshine's Shine Get text. Love Super Mario. Anyway, back to this achievement, there's once again nothing that even resembles it in the game now. Even balanced diet doesn't count since eating a cake isn't a requirement for some reason, even though that advancement says, eat everything that is edible, even if it's not good for you. Maybe that was the real lie all along. Even if it was a requirement though, I think giving cake an advancement would be fair. It's one of the most complex foods to make in the game, so I think the old achievement gave players a reason to go out and make one. So this is the first achievement of the video that I think should come back. One of the best mobs for food are the cows, and wouldn't you know it, they had 2 whole achievements based around them that got cut from the game. First off is repopulation, which says breed 2 cows with wheat. This one was obviously replaced by the parrots and the bats advancement, which just requires you to breed any 2 mobs in the game. I think having the more open one makes sense. The second cow achievement is called Cow Tipper, which says harvest some leather, aka murder a cow. This is another achievement like the bread one we saw before that isn't really challenging nor required for progression. Personally, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep that this isn't in the game anymore. One that I'm a bit more on the fence for though is the librarian achievement. This says build some bookshelves to improve your enchantment table. Now the reason I'm on the fence about this one is because it kind of acts as an enchantment table tutorial. Without it being here, there's no way of knowing that bookshelves power up the enchantment table at all, so I think it would be nice to have this here. It's not really much of a challenge to make a bookshelf, but it is fairly important for progression. Alright, now that we got the early game achievements done, I want to take a look at the 3 cut boss achievements. First up is the end. Now this is technically still in the game, but I figure I should mention it because it was sort of split into 2 advancements. Originally this achievement was given for defeating the Ender Dragon. Now in modern Minecraft, the achievement named the End is given for just entering the dimension, and defeating the dragon gives you the advancement Free the End. So yeah, this one is still basically in the game, but I figure I should mention it anyway. The other 2 advancements both revolve around the Wither. First up is the Beginning, which says spawn the Wither. The second achievement is the Beginning. There's a period there, so it's different. The description for this says kill the Wither. Both of these achievements got replaced by the advancement Withering Heights, which requires you to summon the Wither. Now I do think having both a summon and kill advancement is a bit unnecessary, but I would like to see one of these come back purely because of the name. I think it matches with the End perfectly, so I would honestly change Withering Heights back to being called the Beginning. But now we've made it to the final 5. The reason I point them out is because they are definitely the most interesting collection of cut achievements, as they're fairly unique challenges. So first up, the most simple of the bunch is probably Overpowered, which says craft/eat the enchanted golden apple. The enchanted golden apple is one of the most infamous food sources in the game for being the only one that's not renewable and for being stupid powerful. You can only find it in structure chests, so honestly it's kind of surprising this achievement isn't in the game right now. To be fair, you do need to eat an enchanted golden apple for a balanced diet, but I feel like finding and eating an enchanted golden apple is still worth having an advancement all on its own. The next challenge achievement is Overkill, which says deal 9 hearts of damage in a single hit. Obviously that would require getting very good enchantments on a sword. Even then though, it wouldn't be enough, you'd need to also have a strength potion on top of that. I think it's kind of cool to encourage getting better enchantments for your weapons, but I also don't really have a problem with this being cut. First off, to become the nerd emoji, 9 hearts is not overkill. In fact, many mobs have more than 9 hearts of health. I mean, even the basic zombie has 10, so it wouldn't be overkill at all. It's not even just a normal kill. The actual reason I'm fine with this being gone though is because it just got replaced in the 1.21 update. Alongside the mace, we got the advancement Overkill, which requires us to deal 50 hearts in a single hit. Yeah, that's just a smidge more than 9. I like this as a challenge more too, since even if you have the enchantments, it can still be quite tricky to hit it without. I could see some wanting the normal overkill to return, but I think just having the mace one is fine by me. Now I want to take a look at one of the game's most infamous cut achievements. That would be Diamonds to You. The description for this achievement states, throw diamonds at another player. Sounds simple enough, right? How are we supposed to do that in single player? This is the only achievement or advancement that seemingly required the game to be in multiplayer, which I remember always finding extremely annoying. Since you can still see the achievement in the menu even in single player, it would just act as a way to stop you from getting 100%. No all achievement speedrun for you. Or is there? While the description of this achievement may seem to suggest it's multiplayer exclusive, there is actually a way to do this in single player. If you instead drop a diamond to a zombie rather than a player, that can also count as you getting the achievement. I remember having to do this, so it did make it slightly less annoying. However, I still don't like this achievement. Even if it is possible in single player, wording it like it requires multiplayer probably ruins so many people's all achievement worlds. Of all the cut achievements we have to talk about today, this is probably the only one I'm actively happy was removed. Moving from one obnoxious achievement to another, we have our penultimate one, on a rail. The description for this achievement says, travel by minecart at least 1 kilometer from where you started. If you don't know, each block of Minecraft equals 1 meter, so this is essentially asking you to travel 1,000 blocks on a minecart track. Yeah, that is a bit absurd. This takes so much setup as you not only need to place the rails, but get materials for them as well. According to my professional research on google.com, a minecart moves at 8 blocks per second at top speed, which means it'll take just over 2 minutes to travel, assuming you only used powered rail. Due to the immense amount of setup required, this is definitely one of the most obnoxious achievements. There are some advancements that require long setups, like how did we get here, but at least the setup in that case is pretty interesting. This achievement is literally just placing rails for hundreds of blocks. I'm fine with cutting it personally. I could see some wanting it back since it is a unique sort of challenge, but I'm just not interested in wasting this much time. For Minecraft's final cut achievement, we have the famous When Pigs Fly. The description states, fly a pig off a cliff. This is probably one of the funniest achievements they ever added, and I genuinely miss it so much. There's literally nothing like this achievement in the game today, which is surprising since I would say this is a fairly popular one at the time. Sometimes I even forget it's no longer with us. Just like the pig I dropped off the cliff. So if I had it my way, I think this achievement should come back. It's a funny little challenge that I think fits right in. But anyways, that's it for this video. Do you all really love making bread and hate me for thinking the achievement is unnecessary? Let me know in the comments. I know this was a super short video, but I hope this is an enjoyable look at some of the cut features. Let me know if you all want to see more cut Minecraft videos in the future. But anyways, dry bones for Smash, and I'll see you guys next time.